on Deadwing. But in terms of Stargates or things like that, definitely possible, and most of all, a lot of space to hide stuff here for Haas. So it's, you know, this playground, as much as it suggests more of like standard games, you know, into expansions and regular games, he could just use that to his advantage, you know, I guess the huge amount of space that there is around the map to hide stuff.
That's definitely true. Very, very true. Interestingly enough, it was actually NaNiwa's pick was Deadwing. So I think he's looking to try and get into the later stages of the game for sure against him. And if it is cross positions or wherever it may be, of course, Deadwing, the distances are very large in general, and it gives you a lot of room to claim those bases later on in the game.
I mean, I guess somebody who proxies a lot, like Has, you veto two players map.
Yes.
It's that simple, especially if you don't feel comfortable against them, because even if you know there is a good chance your opponent is going to proxy, it's very hard to scout for all of them without falling behind. If he was to play standard, so it's just always so tricky to find yourself in that situation.
All right, well, we're getting loaded up onto Deadwing for our final series of the day, the final series of the round of 32 here in Cologne, as we have NaNiwa and Haas facing off against one another for that final spot from Group F. As we have spawned down to the bottom left-hand corner, it's our red Protoss representing Yoy Flash Wolves. It is Haas. And up to the top left-hand corner, he's the king in the north. As our blue Protoss, it is NaNiwa.
"11 players have made it so far to the round of 16, and only one of them Protoss. We are guaranteed to get at least another one here, Kylaris, but which one is it going to be?
Oh, I don't know, Todd, but whichever way, I know you're excited.
Excited for a second one, yeah. Imagine how excited I would be if it was the fifth one, at least.
Well, I've never heard you go as high-pitched as that during the broadcast today, so that's how I gauged your excitement there.
And also, I guess you were there a few seasons ago when it was like 7 photos out of 8 in the top 8.
Yes,
so
I was.
You know. But yeah, NaNiwa here against a cheesy player like Has definitely is going to want to be as careful as possible, try and scout as much as possible, be it, you know, with the early on probe, which in this case hasn't been sent out yet, with the Mothership Core, which gave him a lot of information actually previously when they played on Expedition Lost. You know, it was really that one that revealed the Stargates, and then from there he knew to play defensive, he knew to wait back at home, and in the end it played in his favor because he did win that game, even though he lost a few walkers to that one DT.
Well, as we see this shaping up, Haas is going for similar gas timings to what we're seeing over on the other side for NaNiwa. So, Haas, I'm very curious to see how it's going to play out if he goes into a standard mid-game, because even the third game he played was by no means a standard mid-game, really, compared to what we saw from NaNiwa in their previous season.
I don't think like standard play, if that even makes sense, is anything that we'll ever see Haas do. Like he's always going to be hiding stuff. Like, really feels like that, at least when I see his games. 2+3 right now on the simulators. NaNiwa already on 3+3. It seems to be what he likes the most in PvP, you know? Really to start mining heavily on that gas and rely on it later on. Upon scouting that there's no NaNiwa on the top right-hand side here, there's going to be a few possibilities for him to maybe go for something proxy down the map. And here we go.
Yep.
It has begun, Kylaris. Not even at the 4th minute mark, and already a proxy pylon on the map.
And with the timing of this and how it lines up, is this just going to be a Stargate for him up to the top right-hand corner?
It could be Twilight, usually, which means DTs. Very rarely is it going to be Blink here, but I think I'm feeling Stargate here. Yeah.
All right. And we're going to be going up against the in-base Stargate of NaNiwa. Actually, that probe's sticking around up to the top right. You know,
sorry, but NaNiwa went for a very quick sentry here, which against somebody like Has is just brilliant, because it's going to build up on energy at around the 6 minute mark. He's going to be able to send that one hallucination to try and see what he's up against. The thing is, Has's proxy here, it might be ready quickly enough with the Oracle, because I'm pretty sure it's going to be an Oracle, to do some damage if he flies in. And NaNiwa, since he went for Sentry, Stargate, and then Mothership Core, I don't think he will have Photon Overcharge ready on time to deal with this. The thing is, he's going for Phoenixes. But are they going to be back at home when an Oracle of Has finally flies inside the base of NaNiwa? That's basically what's going to decide who takes the lead early on, or maybe even who wins.
Yeah, for now that sentry is just sitting at the front. If any threat came along, yes, Force Field could be a case, but as you said, Hallucinated Phoenix can come along later on as well. And even the Mothership Core is getting a bit frisky out here, moving out with now the Phoenix going to poke on forwards. So
yeah, that's that second Phoenix here, rallied on top of that first one that was made here by NaNiwa, so it's going to move out of position. Mothership Core energy 80, Kailar, is quite far from a photon overcharge, but Has is delaying a little bit his entrance into the main of NaNiwa with the Oracle, and NaNiwa comes back. He senses that something's up. He scouted the main of Has. He saw that there was nothing there. He's like, there is either a Twilight or a Stargate out on the map. I'm going to come back home, make sure that I can defend against the Oracle.
And this is going to be one sad Oracle. It's really not going to get a huge amount done. It only gets 2 or 3 workers at max.
3 is not that bad, you know. Definitely better than 0, but
it's true.
Not the critical damage that he wanted to get with that one proxy Stargate plus an Oracle. It's not enough. It's not enough, Kailaris.
And the Phoenix, actually, they're not going to go far enough to actually spot that up to the top right-hand corner. I think he is going to loop back around. He's spreading his Phoenix out well, so he will spot it. Good job there.
Has he even starts a Nexus here. If NaNiwa was to fly across the map, could start to do some decent harassment. There is 4 Stalkers with Blink on the way here for Has. NaNiwa has to be thinking about the transition, though. He cannot just stay on Phoenixes like this against Blink Stalkers. In the long term, it's never going to be a good thing. And he starts a Nexus, but no Robo yet. The Robo should go down very soon here, I think, here for NaNiwa.
Yeah, it would be nice to keep him well and truly defended. If he's, did he end up spotting the Twilight Council at all during all of this?
I don't think so. I think he's about to see it if he flies in, but it's a little bit risky. And the Robo did go down. I really like, by the way, that NaNiwa was leaving a Phoenix on top of this target. He knows that he could see any kind of unit being made here. Has, though, if you look at what he's doing, he's only getting Stalkers. He's even adding on the 4th gateway. So even though he's gone for a second Nexus, he hasn't been making probes. This is a fake Nexus. And by that I mean he's basically trying to sell a story. He's going to go for a 4-gate Blink on NaNiwa's expansion, which he just scouted and didn't reveal that he had scouted for it. So already having a proxy pylon across the map, he's going to be able to warp there, keep on reinforcing with more and more Stalkers against a NaNiwa who's on Phoenix tech and almost no Stalkers himself.
He started chrono boosting into his Robo facility, though. He really wants that Immortal. He knows that there is the potential that something like this could be coming along, and right now the Phoenix just sat around back at home. They need to get back there, even if it's just to lift up a few of these units, maybe try and isolate something. He needs every unit he can get.
And I think NaNiwa realizes what's up here. He flew around the natural, he saw no probes. He's flying back home. He's going to need some good pickups on the Stalkers of Has, maybe even a force field at the ramp to make sure they can't blink up. NaNiwa, oh my god, that was so close.
That was very close. That one blink forwards from one of those Stalkers could have given him the high ground position. Loses the Mothership Core. Photon Overcharge has been activated at the front. And the Immortal should be very, very useful in this defense. He has fewer force fields available to him here.
Losing the Mothership Core is a massive deal, because he'd had enough energy as well for his second Photon Overcharge, and now he's not going to have that to work with. Still, NaNiwa, he's about to possibly lose the game with this upcoming attack, and he still sends the Phoenixes across the map. I can't believe he's doing that. I really feel like this attack here is going to be so deadly. There is only 2 Immortals for basically a good enough amount of Stalkers to start sniping them very quickly. I guess he does have the Guardian Shield that works in his favor, but he needs those Phoenixes ideally.
Especially with those Force Zealots. He's actually going to blink forwards.
No,
one of those Immortals falls very, very quickly. You're right. With those Force Fields being expended, no Guardian Shield to soak up some of this damage, and he's losing Stalker after Stalker. A lot of the probes here just neglected in that fight as well. The Phoenix are going to come back and try and isolate as many of these Stalkers as possible with another Mortal popping, but I don't know if this is going to be enough. It's going to be very, very close. I mean, there's 8 Stalkers left over here for Has. As he loses a few of these Phoenix, actually one dying, the Nexus has fallen as well. He actually trapped some of these units in, so he will clean it up, but there's a Nexus behind this for Has. Yeah,
behind this, Has hasn't been making any probes, so he's actually 2 walkers behind, funnily enough. He still wants to press on. Rather than make walkers, this guy does not slow down ever.
He's got a few Zealots here. They're going to cause a lot of annoyance to this composition, especially that Immortal that would really like to be shooting at these Stalkers, but it needs to be microing back against the Zealots, actually firing at those, and the Stalkers are reducing the Stalker number themselves, even trying to get on top of that Immortal.
Another one is about to come out, Kailaris.
Oh, that could be the game changer. This is down to 6 Stalkers now, and it's about to pop. And those Stalkers cannot stick around any longer.
I really don't know why Has is... Okay, here we go. He's going to start making probes. He restarts an Oracle as well. Now that there is no Phoenix there, and he's killed most of them other than one. He has the tech. He has Blink Stalkers against no tech, against the NaNiwa stuck on Robotech, forced to make a lot of Immortals. He doesn't need to commit, but he chooses to try and finish the game as soon as possible, and he's going to get it.
There you go. GG. Has takes game number 1 in this best of 3. Very, very strong play there. NaNiwa unfortunately fell prey to the idea of, well, I guess the Nexus being down as a solid position, but he read into the moves from there on and was anticipating a play, was anticipating an attack, but unfortunately couldn't quite get the defense out. Do you think saving the Mothership core would have really helped out there?
Yeah, it would have helped a lot. If he kept that back at home plus the Phoenixes, NaNiwa completes, I would say, at least 5 Immortals before the next attack comes. And then, I mean, 5 Immortals, you can have 45 Stalkers. Okay, maybe not that much, but you can have a lot of Stalkers. It's going to be pretty tough to get through.
Okay, well, we're going to get on to game number 2 in a bit here, and it's going to be Overgrowth as Haas leads 1-0. If he's able to eliminate NaNiwa here from the WCS, then that's what he seems to do in WCS. He eliminated Jaedong back way when, and if he eliminates NaNiwa, oh boy, oh boy.
NaNiwa, remember, a very emotional player. Did very good of staying composed in his first series up against Has after losing a game. But this time, he actually looks really upset, as he should be. I mean, this is a game where you open with Phoenixes against Oracle, kill the Oracle very early on. This should be an ideal situation. But instead of going for the Robo quickly and then the Nexus, he felt compelled to start his own Nexus quickly because he saw Has one starting, and that played right into Has's hand, who ended up winning.
Uh-oh. Let's get into it. Game number 2. It's Overgrowth. Down to the bottom left-hand corner, it's our red Protoss. Representing Sweden, it is NaNiwa. And up to the top right-hand corner, it's our blue Protoss representing Yo Flash Wolves. It is Haas.
Surely NaNiwa is going to scout it, right?
One would think.
Actually, in this position, if NaNiwa clears the entire area around his main natural, usually you check more around the third base on the right-hand side rather than this position. So I think this is going to be the one gate from Has, just like he did last time, into the 3 to 4 gates all in, which is also a quite deadly one.
Yep, definitely could be. This probe is going to head on home. He even grabbed some minerals for goodwill from that base, just so he could take them back. So being efficient.
I'm glad you picked up on that.
It's okay, thanks.
NaNiwa with the Gateway 13 up against the Gateway 10 here, I think it was, for Has. And yeah, this is actually, I feel, one of the strongest proxies. There is a few Protosses. I think Adon Minus is one of them on ladder who did this for the longest time. And even I remember when I knew that this was going to come, it was still very hard to counter. You need to counter it perfectly, and ideally you need to see it. Have the Zealots, Mothership Core, then Stalker, get enough gateways, not make too many probes. That's the challenge, because you're the one playing without the information, ideally. I mean, usually when you're playing like this here as NaNiwa. Is he going to go out and scout his opponent's base? Is he even going to check that location? I think so, Kailaris.
Ding, ding, ding,
this
ding,
is
ding,
massive
ding,
here.
ding.
This is massive. NaNiwa could even cancel. He cancels the second gas.
Wow.
Upon realizing immediately. And all of a sudden, NaNiwa, all he has to do is chrono boosting out his own Zealots, make sure he starts Warp Gates, Mothership Core, and a Stalker, and he should be absolutely okay. Even Mothership, he can actually skip Mothership Core in this game. He doesn't need to get it. All he has to do is match the numbers of Has, and he's going to be in a great position to win it. He's 4 walkers ahead.
He was already positioning buildings up to the top of the mineral line so that he can slowly choke off small areas of this mineral line if an attack is to come from that direction. But again, going back to this, he's going to work on the pylon, even see if there's any more units in production there.
He's making sure there's no second gateway, that the core isn't being made here, that it's not basically a 2-gateway Stalker, which is also a very popular build to which you need to react very differently than this. Right now the second Zealot is a little bit late to the party, but it will finally enter the field. Has very nice micro. Gets 1 probe for just losing the shields.
And he's going to get straight on out of there. It's Stalker versus Stalker on production now. The Warp Gate tech isn't even that far behind for Has. So again, this is a very, very deadly build. As we see it, it's just aggression from the very word go. Starting a second guess.
Has is about 20 seconds ahead in the warp gate take. So NaNiwa already throwing down the double gateway is basically saying, if you go for the same build as earlier with the 3 gates, this time I'm going to have the same numbers as you and I'm going to hold. And he seems to know how to transition into every, I guess, difficult scenario that he could get into with his cheeses. We saw him earlier play very well against Zerg and, you know, do the right moves against Suppy when he got in trouble, when he got scouted. And here again, he's just going to pull back home, add on his own 2 gateways, and get the second cast much earlier than NaNiwa this time. NaNiwa is still in paranoid mode. I mean, by all means, he's up against the guy who never seems to slow down, so he's waiting back at home for those units to come, but they're not coming, and right now he's going to start realizing what's happening.
Makes sense. Ooh, doesn't actually spot those units there, so maybe a few pot shots from this Stalker can cause a bit of disruption.
As he's proxying a pylon on the right-hand side of this, actually. Those units could get trapped out on the map here for NaNiwa.
They could. A little bit of a shame that this Stalker didn't come out here for Hass. That would have changed the tide a lot.
That one Stalker from NaNiwa shooting at the pylon. Okay, I thought he was going to get trapped here.
Okay, he's got another Stalker with this.
Warp gate finished.
Whoa, 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 chill out, mate. Get back home.
You what, mates?
Wrong way. Go back. Well,
it's funny. NaNiwa is actually going to be the one trying to put on some aggression as well here. He's proxying a pylon across the map. He's swapping in Stalkers back at home. And the Walker comes still very even. NaNiwa with 1 more pylon, though.
No energy.
As supply block, big supply block. He's getting 2 pylons right now.
He wanted to chase that weakened Stalker. He's going to get some Zealots at the front for his troubles, and then 5 versus 4 with the high ground advantage, and 1 very weak. It's very difficult to do anything. This one Stalker,
the you-what Stalker.
Hero. The you-what Stalker. He's all over this base. He's like, well, I'll just turn around the fight. I'll be fine.
It's so funny how paranoid NaNiwa is, by the way. He starts a robo. With all that happened, he still to think... He seems to think that Hass could possibly be getting some DTs right now. And NaNiwa having warped in units across the map, he's not going to be able to warp in back at home, but the photon overcharge is almost there to rescue him.
Yep, 3 seconds away, and even just warping a few more units there, sending in the Zealots into the main base as well to really cause a bit of disruption there to Hass back at home.
Hass is so funny how he can still make the most of those situations, even being so far behind. He's going to defend back at home with the probes. He still killed a few more probes of NaNiwa. Both of them lost 3 probes.
Yeah, it's 19 workers to 18, so close. But
so damn close.
Oh, and Hass is going to start using the contain, which is very cool.
But NaNiwa already being on the robo here, this is the massive lead he's going to have in this game. Even though he's only, I guess, Hass has just got up, but he was ahead by 1 probe here, NaNiwa for a sec. He has the pylon across the map, going to keep on warping in some Zealots, which could surprise Hass a little bit if he's not careful. Spots the lockdown here, NaNiwa. He has a few choices here. He could go for a War Prism to break out. He could take to Colossus, and it's going to be the War Prism. I really like this decision here. War Prism is going to be able to drop everything outside of his main here for NaNiwa, possibly catch those units in front of his base.
If he did.
And leave the sentry up the ramp ready for the force field, because you don't want Hass to get up your ramp with the sentry himself. We saw how that went for Suppy earlier when he let that happen.
Yeah, this could be a very nice move here by NaNiwa as he pulls back from the ramp just for a second. But Hass, it's always scary as a Protoss in this situation when you're a Hass, because you don't want to stay there for too long. It has been spotted. He's gonna go. Ooh, jeez. Yeah. This was very eager the way he played this. Was NaNiwa. Yes. He could have hit this. I really don't like by NaNiwa that he went on top of this army like this. He could have dropped everything out, then went for the attack, and those units would have never left and been killed, all of them, and then it's just game. He could have hidden it.
It's so smart by Hass to go for Stargate when he knows he's up against a robo, but I still think he's quite a bit behind.
Really doesn't want to be losing that Warp Prism. At least he doesn't have Blink to chase that down. Stargate's in production here, though, by Hass.
Robo Bay for NaNiwa, which is one of the worst choices. It's actually the worst choice you can do against the Stargate.
Yeah, and it's going to be Oracle, so he won't really... If he moves out here, then he won't really have too much really to defend it. The Mothership Core, how much energy does it have? It has 100 or so.
I think what NaNiwa was thinking is that since there was such a high amount of Stalkers, with quite a few in front of his main, I think it was 7, he says, you know what, you're probably going to go for Blink and try to all-in or something, so I'm just going to go for Immortals and Colossus, which in this case, I mean, against the Stargates, I don't think is good at all. Void Rays could be made, Phoenixes could be made, a Tempest transition is possible, and the War Prism is even going to get spotted by the Oracle here.
And vice versa, the Oracle is spotted by the Warp Prism, so at least NaNiwa has that feather in his cap. He could leave some of the units back, or he could just rely completely on this Photon Overcharge, but at least he gets this pylon, at least he gets the gateway. This is not going to be a success. Everything of Haas's is ready for the weighing.
Let's see what this goes into from here. Haas is getting Phoenixes right now.
Suicide run, how many is he going to get? Gets 5.
Well, that's decent.
26 to 17 now.
Yeah, and look at the NaNiwa's mineral line. It's 11 probes on the minerals. That's really, really low.
Yeah, not healthy at all.
Seeing the Robo Bay here, I mean, he must be very happy.
Things are not going NaNiwa's way.
Yeah.
Of course he has the 2 Immortals, but if he can get over there to go for an engagement, and even then, it will be difficult to take a straight one. It's up to this Colossus. He might just go for it.
I wonder if NaNiwa was a bit on tilt here and might go for an all-in, because you see he's warping in only gateways unit. One Colossus plus mass gateways is one of the all-ins that could work here, but he's not proxying any pylon across the map just yet.
And he's not replenishing his probes either. So going up against this Nexus from Haas, I think this is just it. He's going to try and do something with this, but Phoenix actually will be surprisingly annoying against the Colossus once it pokes forward. Yeah. Void Ray's in production as well. Haas realizes exactly what's going on.
Yeah, the first Void Ray though. This timing is still looking to be very, very dangerous here by NaNiwa, but Haas spots this. He knows what's headed for him. The probe's going around on the right-hand side, so that's going to be some reinforcing capability here for NaNiwa, who should...
He's got to be so careful, not only with the probe, but also maybe even the any units that are going to straggle and sit right at the back. How many units do we have at
NaNiwa having a Photon Overcharge is great as well, because if those Phoenixes were to go across the map to try and do some counter damage, it would help a lot. But
he got the probe.
Haas knows that he's in a lot of trouble right now, so he goes back with the Phoenixes. He's not going to make the same mistake that NaNiwa did. And yeah, there's not going to be a proxy pylon. NaNiwa can supply block Haas though, and it's only a single Void Ray to help against this Colossus and this massive ground army. Haas needs a good concave. NaNiwa's going up the ramp. Here we go.
That's a lot of firepower we're seeing here. How well are the Zealots going to be able to tank at the front? That's a big deal. The Void Ray is charged up on it. He's actually going to focus that down with the Stalkers. He brings that down, trying to negate some of the damage here from the Immortals as he pushes on forwards. The army supplies a little bit in NaNiwa's favor, but the Colossus falls. How much he's going to continue doing? One of the Immortals dies. The second one may end up falling as well.
NaNiwa's enough, I think. He's breaking through this. The Immortal should... Oh, he's not going to fall.
He doesn't have another pickup. Oh, but it's going to fall anyway. Warping into more units. That with extra Void Ray could be the difference maker. If he gets all the... he force fields them in! He gets them and locks them in! That Void Ray, GG! Haas takes it 2-0 after a high-octane series here. Impressive stuff there by Haas, and congratulations to him for moving on to the round of 16.
He's shaking, look at him, he can't believe it. After a very difficult start today, he makes it out of this group in quite convincing fashion, I guess, in that last series. I thought for a moment that this was going to work out for NaNiwa, but I guess that Void Ray coming out and the perfect micro from Haas. At first it looked pretty bad for him with the micro, actually. He moved in with the Void Ray way too close to the army of NaNiwa that got sniped instantly. Didn't really last too long in terms of, doing any damage and helping with his army. But in the end, some good force fields in the ramp after that Colossus was gone. And yeah, just enough, barely enough reinforcements. The Zealots at the front were tanking quite nicely and allowed for his Stalkers and Sentries to do the damage behind.
I mean, the Phoenix was such a game changer as well. They kept the Immortals out of the fight for so long, and even got a kill on one of them as they were being focused down. So very, very impressive. Impressive little hold there from Haas, who forced his opponent into a very severe situation. Really well done, really well done. And again, congratulations to him for moving on to the round of 16. He dashes the hopes of a lot of NaNiwa fans out there, and NaNiwa alike. But again, a win is a win. Moving on to the round of 16, it's good stuff. And he moves alongside Cyril as well, two of the youngest players here in this group, being able to make the business happen.
Yeah, didn't face each other though. Maybe later in the tournament, maybe in finals, Skylars.
Maybe. Cyril has some good chops. He has a lot of ability, but
some good chops.
Going to the final, we'll see. There's the thing is about WCS now is it's exactly how Apollo said in the opening of going into this series. The dynamics that we see here from players from all of these regions playing in the round of 32 onwards is something that's extremely entertaining, actually.
Yeah. it's very new.
Yes.
Like these formats, Apollo emphasized that very, very well. Yeah. This kind of felt to some extent like, you know, Europe versus the rest of the world. With a few Koreans in there as well. And a lot of those matches actually in those group stages, they were happening for the very first time between those matchups. So that made it pretty cool as well.
All right, well, that does it from us here at the Caster's Desk. A huge thank you for listening to us. Now let's go listen to some Red Eye.